Hello everyone, my name is Tyler. Welcome to AI Football Prediction Lab, Europe's most trusted football prediction channel. This video covers 9 selected fixtures from the 14 scheduled MLS matches, set to be played late on Sunday night, July 20th, UK time. Keep in mind that match times may vary depending on your location. For example, in the US, these games are scheduled for Saturday evening, July 19th. As you can see on the screen, these are the 9 matches we'll be covering today. We're focusing on 9 out of the 14 matches because analysing all of them in depth just isn't feasible for us right now. And as always, we prefer to give you fewer but more accurate predictions, just like we did in the last video. Our football expert Luca has once again prepared sharp insights and predictions for each of these matches. And don't forget, at the end of this video, we'll reveal our top predictions, featuring the picks we trust the most. Before we jump in, a quick reminder. Everything we do on this channel is only possible with your support. Without it, this journey simply isn't sustainable. So if you find value in our work, please consider clicking the thanks button below. Big or small, every contribution makes a difference. Now let's hand it over to Luca and hear what he has to say.
Hello everyone, Luca here. I hope you're all doing well. It's MLS Matchweek 26, and there are 14 matches scheduled for Sunday, July 20th, UK time. I've analysed 9 of them, and I'm here with my insights and predictions. Let's dive straight into the first match. Columbus Crew versus DC United. Columbus Crew currently sit 4th in the Eastern Conference. They lost their last match 3-0 against Nashville, but I must say the scoreline doesn't tell the full story. Columbus actually played some good football, especially in attack. They conceded early, which forced them to push forward aggressively. This left them vulnerable at the back, and Nashville punished those spaces. Still, Columbus are a strong side, particularly at home. They've only lost once on home soil this season. On the other hand, DC United are having a tough season. They're second bottom in the Eastern Conference and have only managed 1 win in their last 12 matches, and that win came 6 weeks ago. Most recently, they lost 2-1 to Charlotte, but the score could have been much worse. Defensively, they've been having a tough time. In fact, they're one of the teams that have conceded the most goals in the Eastern Conference. My prediction is over 0.5 goals in the first half. I expect at least 1 goal before the break, mainly because Columbus Crew are a very attacking side, but they also tend to concede. That said, I see them as clear favourites in this match, and I believe they'll most likely be the ones to get that first half goal. Next up, New York Red Bulls versus Inter Miami. On one side, we have former European stars like Emil Forsberg and Choupo-Moting, and on the other, Messi, Suarez, Sergio Busquets, and Jordi Alba. It's a clash that truly feels like a European fixture. Inter Miami currently sit 5th in the Eastern Conference with 38 points, but as we've mentioned before, they've played 3 fewer games due to their participation in the FIFA Club World Cup. They recently suffered a 3-0 loss against Cincinnati. However, that scoreline might be a bit misleading. Cincinnati's goals came from second balls and fortunate rebounds. They made the most of those chances. Before that, Inter Miami were one of the hottest teams in the league, coming into that match on a 5-game winning streak. This team is a unique blend of experienced stars and young talent, but with the intense fixture schedule, it seems like the veterans are starting to show signs of fatigue. On the other hand, New York Red Bulls had been on a poor run lately. In their most recent match, they went 2-0 down against New England Revolution, but staged a big comeback and won 5-3 at home. It was a much-needed victory after a long drought. I want to highlight that they are very strong at home. While they've only picked up 1 win on the road, they're almost unbeatable at home. My prediction is no goal in the first 15 minutes. I don't expect either side to start the game at full intensity. Yes, the Red Bulls conceded early in their last home match, but this time I believe they'll start more cautiously and avoid making the same mistake. Alternatively, Inter Miami double chance is a solid option. I expect Inter Miami to respond after their loss to Cincinnati, although New York Red Bulls have been very strong at home. Next up, Houston Dynamo versus Philadelphia Union. Eastern Conference leaders Philadelphia Union travel to face mid-table side Houston Dynamo. Philly are currently on a 2-game winning streak. Most recently, they hosted Montreal and came away with a narrow win, keeping their top spot in the East. However, despite the victory, they showed some concerning signs in defense. This was a bit surprising, considering Philadelphia have one of the best defensive records in the league and are the team with the fewest goals conceded in the Eastern Conference. They were playing at home, where they're usually very strong, yet they allowed too many chances. Had they faced a team with better finishing quality, they might not have come away with the win. On the other hand, Houston Dynamo haven't really made their home ground a fortress this season. Their home and away form are nearly identical, so it's hard to say they're particularly strong on their own turf. They're aiming to finish inside the top 9, but their recent form hasn't helped. In their last match, also at home, they lost 3-0 to Vancouver Whitecaps. Still, many of those goals were lucky rebounds. Houston failed to score in their last 2 matches, but they now have 2 consecutive home games ahead, and I believe they'll finally find the net in front of their fans. For these reasons, my prediction for this match is over 1.5 total goals. I expect at least 2 goals in this game. Houston should finally get on the score sheet again, and Philadelphia have the quality to punish any defensive mistakes. Next up, Nashville SC versus Toronto FC. Nashville, currently sitting inside the top 3 of the Eastern Conference, host bottom half side Toronto. They had a solid run of form recently, but suffered a 2-1 defeat against Inter Miami 2 matches ago. That result showed their limitations on the road against top opposition, but overall, this is a high-quality side. They bounced back last week with a 3-0 win over Columbus Crew at home, regaining momentum. It's worth noting, though, that while the scoreline looks dominant, the match wasn't entirely one-sided. Nashville gave up several chances and benefited from counterattacks after Columbus pushed forward. Still, Nashville have been excellent at home all season. On the other hand, Toronto pulled off one of the most impressive results of Matchweek 25, beating San Diego 1-0 away, one of the strongest teams in the league. That win followed a solid performance against Atlanta, where they were heading for all 3 points, but a last-minute penalty cost them the win. My prediction is Nashville under 2.5 team goals. Even though Nashville are very strong at home, and they have the league's top scorer, Sam Surridge, I don't think they'll score 3 goals in this match. Toronto have shown signs of becoming a more organized and defensively solid team. I don't see them conceding heavily here. Next up, Seattle Sounders versus San Jose Earthquakes. Seattle Sounders added real excitement to the recent FIFA Club World Cup with their quick attacking style. Since returning to MLS action, they've gone 4 matches unbeaten. Most recently, they drew 3-3 with Colorado Rapids, showcasing once again that they're a very attack-minded team. However, there seems to be a recurring concentration issue. In the match before that, they were 3-0 up against Sporting Kansas, but nearly threw it away, eventually holding on for a 3-2 win after a nervy finish. Then, in their last match, history repeated itself. They were 3-0 up against Colorado, yet somehow ended up drawing 3-3. It's becoming a trend. Seattle struggled to stay focused after taking big leads. On the other side, San Jose Earthquakes are a mid-table side in the Western Conference, currently sitting 9th. Their matches are consistently high-scoring. In fact, despite being 9th, they've scored more goals than second-placed Vancouver Whitecaps. They haven't won in their last 4 games, but they're also tough to beat, especially over the past 12 match days. Their most recent match, against FC Dallas, was another goal-filled affair. So it's clear, both teams are dangerous going forward, and neither struggles to score. My prediction is over 0.5 first-half goals. I'm expecting a lively match, and honestly, I wouldn't be surprised to see even 3 goals in the first half. But to keep the risk low, my prediction is at least 1 goal before the break. Next up, Real Salt Lake versus FC Cincinnati. Cincinnati currently sit second in the Eastern Conference and have had an impressive season with 14 wins so far. Their recent form is also strong. They've won 5 of their last 6 matches. The only setback came 2 games ago when they blew a 2-0 lead and lost 4-2 to Columbus Crew. But they bounced back with a 3-0 win over Inter Miami, once again proving their strength. That said, there was a bit of luck involved in that Inter Miami match. They capitalized on loose balls and clearly benefited from their opponent's fatigue. On the other side, Real Salt Lake are a mid-table team in the Western Conference, but they've been in great form lately. They are unbeaten in their last 5 matches and have looked very well organized. In fact, you could say that this version of Real Salt Lake resembles old-school Atletico Madrid, highly compact, disciplined, and tough to break down. They don't score many, but they also concede very little. My prediction is Real Salt Lake under 2.5 team goals. Yes, Real Salt Lake are definitely in good form, and it wouldn't be a surprise if they managed to win this one. However, I still don't see them scoring 3 goals. They're not a high-scoring side, and if they do take the lead, they'll likely shut things down rather than take further risks. For that reason, my prediction is Real Salt Lake to score under 2.5 goals. Next up, Los Angeles FC versus LA Galaxy. Arguably one of the most meaningful fixtures of the day, it's El Tráfico, the iconic Los Angeles derby between LAFC and LA Galaxy. LAFC have had a fantastic run in July, winning all 3 of their matches this month, and more impressively, keeping a clean sheet in every single one. Most recently, they beat Minnesota 1-0 on the road. On the other hand, LA Galaxy have had a rough season overall and currently sit at the bottom of the table. That said, they did manage to build some momentum over the past few weeks, but in their most recent match, they suffered a 2-1 home defeat to Austin FC. Looking at the bigger picture, LAFC are clearly the favorites here. They have a stronger, more settled squad and are pushing for the top of the Western Conference. If they didn't have games in hand, they might already be in first place. Now, derbies like this often play out independent of form because the players treat them differently, with extra motivation and intensity, still based on current form. My prediction is LA Galaxy to score no goal in the first half. I expect both teams to start with full focus and intensity, especially given the derby atmosphere. But considering how solid LAFC have been defensively, and the fact that Galaxy are facing a much stronger opponent, I don't see Galaxy scoring before the break. Next up, Portland Timbers versus Minnesota United. 2 teams that struggled last week meet in this Western Conference clash as 6th-placed Portland host Minnesota United. Minnesota are coming off a disappointing home loss to LAFC, where they failed to make much of an impact. They had been in decent form before that, but couldn't show it on the pitch. This is a side that usually relies on pace and width, with quick athletic players up front. Portland, on the other hand, also underperformed in their most recent match against Real Salt Lake. They barely threatened the goal and looked uninspired overall. Portland have now lost 2 matches in a row, and they've only won 1 of their last 5, with 3 losses and a draw in that stretch. They're clearly in a slump and struggling to find form. My prediction is no goal in the first 15 minutes. Yes, the MLS is a league where early goals are quite common, but in this particular matchup, both teams will likely prioritize avoiding defeat. That could lead to a more cautious approach from the start. On top of that, Portland aren't exactly a high-scoring team, and Minnesota haven't been very prolific lately either, so I expect a slow start with no goal in the opening 15 minutes. Next up, San Diego FC versus Vancouver Whitecaps. San Diego are currently top of the Western Conference, and Vancouver sit just behind them in 2nd place. San Diego are the team with the most wins in the conference this season. However, things have started to get a little shaky for them in recent weeks. In their last 3 matches, they've suffered 2 losses. First a 4-3 defeat at home to Houston, and then a 1-0 loss to Toronto. That Toronto match in particular was concerning. They failed to create much danger and couldn't even score at home. Truth be told, San Diego haven't been dominant at home this season. In 12 home matches, they've lost 3, drawn 3, and only managed to win 6. As for Vancouver Whitecaps, they weren't in great form heading into their last match. They had only 1 win in 5 games prior to that. However, they did bounce back last time out with a solid 3-0 away victory over Houston Dynamo, which gave them a much-needed boost. My prediction is San Diego double chance. I believe this is a must-respond moment for the home side. I don't see San Diego losing this one in front of their fans. I expect them to at least get a draw, and possibly even more. That wraps up my predictions and analysis for MLS Matchweek 26. Now it's time for the section you've all been waiting for, Top Predictions, where we share the picks we trust the most. Thank you for watching and listening. Remember, everything we do here, this level of research, detail, and quality, is only possible with your support. We can't continue this without it. So if you find our content valuable and helpful, please consider supporting us by clicking the thanks button below. It truly makes a difference.